at the time, I needed that because I never want to go back there.
Right.
Because of what I went through, now I have the discipline to be cautious with my money.
Hello, I'm Tijani Musa.
And I'm Yasmin Musa, and this is how we're doing it.
Welcome to our How We're Doing It. Here we'll share stories about our journey and experiences of being first-generation college graduates, our family, buying our first home, moving across the country, and living a debt-free lifestyle. We do so in an authentic, fun, and educational way to help other first-generation immigrants with similar paths. So, Yasmin, what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about our debt-free living lifestyle.
I like that. We are back like we've never left. That's because we never left. All right. I like that. What you thinking?
Well, I think it's been a process, right? For us. It didn't happen magically. It started with both of us getting on the same page about our money and making it a goal to get out of debt. And we were out of debt, consumer debt. At the time, that was all our debt.
Yeah.
By our first year of marriage. And then ever since, we've been living this debt-free lifestyle. Now, obviously, disclaimer, we do have a mortgage.
Yes.
And that came later after we had saved up enough. And we'll get into some of the details of how we saved up and all that. But, after saving up, we did get into a mortgage. And it's just hard to buy a home in cash.
Yeah.
in this economy.
If you don't have all money, like money that was passed down to you from generations ago. Yeah. So
I would consider us debt-free, though, because the mortgage, a lot of people have mortgages.
Everyone has a mortgage, even millionaires.
Yeah. So when it comes to consumer debt-free, yes, we're there.
All right. Let me ask you this, because this episode is basically a sequel to an episode that we recorded that talked about how we got out of debt. Do you remember how many jobs you were doing during that time?
Yeah, all the jobs. Yeah,
we were doing all the odd jobs.
Thin. Yeah. But at the time, I needed that because I never want to go back there.
Right.
Because of what I went through, now I have the discipline to be cautious with my money.
Yeah.
To think about my long-term goals.
Right.
And delay gratification.
Mm-hmm.
I don't just want, I need it right now because I work so hard. No, I can think about it.
It can wait.
It can wait. Yeah, literally, it can wait.
Right.
But it's something that I didn't know. When we first got married, it's not where my mind was when we first got married.
Right. So during that time, I asked the question because we were very intentional about what we wanted to do, and that was getting out of debt. And so we were doing pretty much anything that was necessary to get us to where we needed to be. And I remember Yasmin was doing several jobs. She was working with a young lady, and then also she was also in the evening after coming from her full-time teaching job. We were also doing Uber and Lyft. And I was doing Uber. Yasmin was doing Uber.
I was doing Uber Eats. I never did actual Uber.
Okay, that's different. I did Uber and I did Lyft, and you were doing Uber Eats. So because you didn't want to deal with humans.
No, I wanted to deal with humans' food.
Right. That way, it's easier. And then I also remember we became like census enumerators. Remember that when you became like a census field person to go around and help the census 2020? That was cool. But anyway, that was just a refresher to say that we were very determined and intentional about getting out of debt, and so that means that we had to work multiple jobs to get us there. But this particular topic today, this episode, we're talking about how we've been able to maintain that lifestyle of not going back into debt and then ensuring that we're living a debt-free journey. What are some of the things that you're thinking about today?
Throughout our debt-free journey, the main thing we did was budget.
Yes.
And that is something that we have continued to do throughout our marriage.
Yes.
I'm the budget person. I make sure I know where all of our money is going. So we have a zero-based budget, meaning that every dollar counts towards something.
Yep.
And I think that's been really good for us because we can really see what we're doing with our money, how much we're spending, how much we're saving.
Yeah.
All the things in between, even like how much you take, I took the average of like 3 months to calculate how much we needed for our emergency fund, which is something that we were able to save to have an emergency fund once we got out of debt. And once, our money was actually staying with us. We were no longer in debt.
You could actually see it.
Yeah, you could see it. You're like, hey, I make really good money and I can actually keep it in my account now. Yeah. And that's when, we started creating those little milestones for us. The first one was, doing a fully funded emergency fund. Yeah. Having that. At the time, we were moving from our apartment to another apartment. Yeah. And kind of cash flowing those things in between there, like our move. Yeah. Oh, this one's a big one. You remember we paid cash for our RAV4? Yep.
Yeah. 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 Maybe we need to record an episode about why we paid cash for that RAV4. Because something happened. Now that it's all like settled, maybe we need to do an episode about that because not a lot of people know about the reason why we paid cash. Almost over $15,000 we paid for a RAV4. Yeah, but that's a good one. But keep going.
But think about it. Like before getting out of debt, we would have never been able to pay cash for a car. Right. We would have, some of the people that have known us for a while know that we were in a bad car accident. Right. And one of our cars was totaled. It was unexpected. And we became a one-car household for a few months while we saved up money to buy the next car, right? Yeah. But it was something that, we weren't really prepared for. Right. But at the same time, we were because we were in a different financial... Yeah. I don't want to call it a bracket. We were in a different...
financial position.
Yes. Yeah. By the time that car accident happened. And so what could have been a major disaster ended up just being an inconvenience.
Yeah. Yeah. So absolutely. I want to go back to the point that you made about the budget, right? Because for me, the way I see a budget, like what you were saying, assigning your dollar to a task, and then that allows us to live within our means, right? Being able to make money and seeing where your money goes, and then understanding that, okay, am I living within my means? Am I living below my means, or am I living above my means? And in our case, we were able to live a little bit under our means, and then allows us to save us money. And then another thing we did during the journey of trying to get out of debt, we defined what a major purchase is. And essentially, we talked to ourselves that every time we want to make a purchase that is $250 or above, is something that we need to discuss. And then that's number one, we need to discuss it first. And then number two is that if we don't feel 100% about it, we will sleep on it. And the reason why we want to sleep on it is to minimize that buyer's remorse and being in a position, ooh, man, I shouldn't have purchased this when you wake up the next day. And so budgeting was very, very important for us. It was like our guide. And we've been able to live by that today.
It still is, yeah. We have like our monthly budget meetings. Right. And I mean, there's been times where we're not as disciplined with our money.
Oh yeah.
And I think by being able to have the budget it's kind of like our way to get back into it, right? Like our reminder, like, oh, look, this month, we spent a little too much than we should have.
Right.
Let's look at how we can tighten up, or let's think about, in the next couple months what we can do to make sure that, we stay focused on our long-term goal.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And cutting down your expenses, right? And we've been able to, look at our budget and understand that what are some of the things that we spend money on that we necessarily don't need to spend money on. For example, we don't have cable. Yeah, the cable is not a thing for us. We have like a couple streaming services.
We pay for one subscription.
Yeah.
And then between like our family and friends.
And family and friends, yeah, we have a couple more. And
we
so
share.
Exactly, we share. Our friends and family have been amazing sharers of some of these streaming services, and that allows us to cut expenses when it's not necessary. So if an expense is not necessary, we cut it down, and so we rely on our support system to get us to where we need to be. So that's also a very key effort in living a debt-free lifestyle, cutting down expenses. And you're able to do that when you have a budget that you stick to, because then you see exactly how your money is coming in and how your money goes out.
I remember before we got on the budget, when we were, still in debt, I had all the subscriptions to every
Yeah. And those subscription prices have changed. Yeah, they have changed. Netflix was like $5-6, but now it's going up to $20.
Did you and now they're like trying to make you only if you're in the same household will you have it.
Yeah.
And
you have to have the same Wi-Fi password.
For their price? Come on now. Anyways, that it is what it is. But, even now, like now I think about it, because there's sometimes, like you have an app that's like, oh, you pay $1 a month, and it's like an annual subscription.
Oh, that's how they get you.
That's how they get you. I don't fall for those things anymore, but I used to, even like the Apple Music, all the things. Nope, I'll listen with the ads. I'm okay. I'm fine.
Yep, that's a key point. I want to emphasize on that, because you just brought up a very, very important key point, but I don't think you understand the importance of that. Yeah, and what this company does to you is, for example, let's say YouTube TV, right? They tell you, okay, you have a 3-month free trial, all right? And then what basically is a trap, right? They tell you, put in your credit card and all that stuff. You have free 3 months. And what they are trying to do essentially is that they know that after that 3 months finishes, they know that the chances of you forgetting is higher than the chances of canceling that subscription. And so that one day that you forget, they already charge you $40 or $50 because they're charging you for the future month. Yeah. And so when you're living a debt-free lifestyle, you have to remember those things. Don't fall for those free trial traps. Don't fall for those 50% off, 25% off. If you don't need it, don't buy it. And if you need it, make sure you save up for it so that you can buy it. And that's what you were talking about, that the delayed gratification versus instant gratification. Saving up for something until you have enough money to buy it is delayed gratification rather than rushing to it because a company is telling you that on Black Friday, you have a 25% off or 35% off. Don't fall for those traps. And that's just what I wanted to add to what you were saying.
Yeah. I've definitely set reminders on my phone. Like if I sign up for one of those free trials, I'm like, you're not going to get me. I will 2-3 days before I'm supposed to pay, I will have a calendar reminder to delete that.
Yeah,
to make sure I don't fall for it.
Yeah, you're disciplined.
But I've definitely fallen into it in the past.
Yeah, trust me, I've been charged a couple times, and
you've had to. You have, and then you've had to. What do you call it?
I contact them.
Yeah, but you have to like dispute it.
Oh yeah. I'm quick to disputing. And that's another thing. When you're living, Yasmin knows this about me. When I'm living a debt-free, like I'll call companies and talk to them because sometimes it's just a matter of calling them. When you call them, you have a 5 minutes 10 minutes
Oh, this
conversation.
one's a funny one.
Which one?
The one earlier this week. I was like, "Hey, do you know what this charged?" It was a
Qualitel.
$2 charge, guys. $2 charge. But it happened 2 separate times.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What is this?" Like, I Googled it. I was like, "What company is this? Are they just taking random money?" And I told you about it.
Oh, yeah.
And you were like, "Don't worry, I'm gonna find out." So we called the company.
2 companies.
Oh, it was 2 companies.
Yeah, the first one, they said, we have nothing to do with that company. I said, oh, okay. And then I called the one in Wiley, Texas. That's the one that charged us.
And then what was it?
Because it's the tire pressure.
It's low tire pressure season.
Yeah.
And the charge was on our account, but I didn't know what it was. It didn't say like air tire or anything like that. So I was like, what is this?
This fancy company. I'm like, I never heard of that one. And I know my $2. We work hard for it.
But that's how informed we are about our finances.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
We check it.
That's how often we check.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much in the know we are,
Yeah.
We are constantly informed of our money.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's $2. They didn't work for it. We worked for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I called them and the guy told me what happened. I said, okay, that's justified. And I text you back. I told you, hey, this is when your tire was flat. I went and got air. So, but now we know. Now we know if we get charged $2, we know it's from that company.
And that's just it's what works for us.
Absolutely. It several times I've done that where I see a charge, and even with like medical bills, we've gotten medical bills, and it's just a matter of calling the hospital and talk to them and say, hey, situations are pretty tight right now, and sometimes they waive them. It's just a matter of calling them because sometimes you get charged due to a misunderstanding. And so when you call them and explain to them, because on the other side of the phone is a human being, and you just a matter of you being respectful and being eloquent and then just polite, talk to them one-to-one and they understand you. And I've gotten charged with our phone companies several times where they charge us extra, and I call them and I talk to them and they waive those charges.
You save us money.
Yeah, I save. Yeah,
even like you like I think since you became like a part of my family with like my parents and my sister.
Yeah,
I feel like you've done things to save money. Like most recently, like you helped my dad switch up all his plan.
Oh yeah,
so that his
he
phone bill
them.
is the lowest it has ever been.
Yeah,
ever.
He's paying like 50% off.
You know what's crazy? Talking about phone bills, it's so good to know what you're paying for because my dad had been with the same company for so many years and had multiple lines, right? And then as my sister and I got older and we left those lines,
you're still paying the same fee.
He was still paying insurance on our phone.
Yeah, like he still had y'all.
It was 2 lines, and his phone bill was higher than anything.
Almost $300-$400.
Yes.
It's crazy.
You gotta be informed. You have to check, even if it means you have to call and be annoying. And yes, it's very frustrating, but it's worth it. Like, it's your money.
Yeah.
You're working hard for it. You deserve to know what you're paying for.
Exactly. And yeah, I've seen now Luis pays like $115.
I love it for him.
He saved $200-$300 off every month. So it's crazy. It's just you have to be responsible for your money, and then you worked for it already. Don't allow people to take advantage of you. And just it's a matter of calling and just being respectful and hear the other side. And sometimes they'll waive the fees. Every single time I've called, I'm like 99% sure that I've gotten money back that have been charged, or I've gotten fees waived just explaining situations to people. And that's about you being responsible for your money. So yeah, what else you got?
All right. So question for you. How do you feel about credit cards?
Oh yeah, credit cards. Well, so
do we have them?
Yes.
Okay.
When we got out of debt, we literally cut off our credit cards, right?
Like we cut them up.
Yep.
Threw them up in the air.
We buried them.
Yeah.
We buried them. RIP to our credit cards. Like we have videos and pictures of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've done that. But and not only did we cut up our credit cards and buried them, we also closed
the account.
Our accounts. And what that did to us was that it took us like we were just born again. Basically, we had no credit. And I remember we went to one of the local banks because we started thinking about, okay, what's next? We have a little apartment here now. Our family is growing. We have a baby coming. We need to start thinking about what's next. We need to start finding a bigger place. And so we went to, check out different places to get like quotes or like loan and those type of things. And our credit report, again, is a vital thing that keeps coming up. And so we decided that, okay, now it's time to start preparing for this major step in our life, which is to potentially buy a home. And so we started, again, preparing ourselves. And we went to the bank. We said, okay, we want to open a credit card. To even open a credit card, I could not get a credit card because they had to give me, I forgot what they termed it, but I had to put money down, like a $300 deposit.
We both did.
It's like a safe card or something like that. Yeah. And then they give us the credit card.
And their limit was like,
$300. What could you buy with $300? Our groceries was more than $300.
We paid $300. So for them to give us a $300 credit limit.
Yeah.
And then after like a certain amount of time, they reimbursed us those $300.
They give us the $300 back. Yeah. And then
it made no sense.
And then at that point, we qualified for regular credit. And so we knew that didn't make sense. And we knew that credit is important, especially because we don't have the old money that we talked about. And we could not just go and purchase a home cash. So we started building our credit. But to answer your question, I know this is a long answer. I do not like credit cards. And now I use credit cards for convenience. I don't use them for necessity because I don't need their money. I use them for convenience to build my credit. We use credit to buy our home. And when we purchased our home, it was high interest. It was in the middle of a pandemic, right? And so it was high interest. And so now the goal is to refinance when things go down, because right now the interest is controlled by the government, all the interest hikes and all those things. And so the goal is when interest goes down, we intend to refinance. And so what are we doing now to prepare us for that step? And that is maintaining a good credit score. And that's the reason why we went and got credit again, to start building up our credit. So when it's time to refinance, we get a better deal that would help us keep our mortgages low.
Well, and luckily this time we found a bank that actually trusts us.
Right.
And they gave us a higher credit limit, which obviously with that comes responsibility, right?
Absolutely.
Like just because you were given this huge lump sum of money doesn't mean you go spend it all. Because you taught me something. You told me that I couldn't spend more than a certain amount on the credit card, right? What's the percentage?
Right. So to get a good credit, you want to stay within 30% of the credit limit. And so anything less than 30% is pretty good. If you go above 30%, the people that work in the finance industry, they would discourage you from doing that.
So if my credit limit is $100 on my credit card, I can only spend about
$30.
That's crazy.
Yep, that's like the best way to do it. If you spend
more than 30.
Yeah, exactly.
Groceries. Oh God, groceries.
Don't talk about groceries. That's a whole different episode.
No, but that's good to know. That's one thing that like you don't learn that growing up. Like unless you're constantly talking to people about money. And that doesn't happen a lot.
Right.
Like we don't have too many circles where we sit down and have conversations about money.
Right.
Aside from like our own family circle, me and you.
Right. Exactly. And this is by experience.
Yes.
Yeah. We live and learn.
Great tip. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Absolutely. Yeah. You want to stay within that 30% limit. If you can stay under that, even better. But try not to cross that 30% limit. Always have at least 70% of your credit limit in the bank, because it's not your money, it's theirs. And so you pay credit on the remaining balance if you don't pay it off at the end of that billing cycle.
And I was really against credit cards. Like after we got our debt, I was like, absolutely not. Like I'm not going back into debt. But I have had to change my mindset and look at it in a responsible way. Like now, yes, I do use it.
Right.
I'll use it at least one time a month. not every month, maybe every 3 months, every certain amount of time.
Right.
It's random when I think about it, honestly.
Right.
But I know I can pay it off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Immediately. Like, the next month. It's just to build the credit.
Yeah, like going in, you knew you could pay that item off just entering the store.
Yeah.
That's how you want to think about credit. You ask yourself, do I have the cash to pay this off right now? If I was to be asked. If your answer is yes, then go ahead and swipe it. If your answer is no, I don't have the cash to pay this off right now, don't swipe it. It's not your money.
Oops.
So, and then another element of living a debt-free lifestyle is avoiding new debt.
Yeah.
Avoiding new debts. Basically, once you paid off your debts, be mindful of taking new ones. Practice responsible spending habits and consider alternative ways like saving up for purchases that you want to buy. For example, we just made a major purchase about 2-3 days ago. Do you want to share that?
No.
Okay.
No, because I want to talk about other ones that we've done before.
Okay,
like,
go ahead.
Okay. Take us back to like we just got out of debt. It's like summer 2020. We moved to a different apartment, right?
Right.
And we left most of our furniture was like hand me down.
All of them.
All of them. Yeah. Let's be real. All of them.
Yeah, all of our furniture, including
furniture,
pants. Yeah. Pots and pans.
Like all the things. So we were like, you know what? We're just going to start fresh.
Okay.
And so we got mostly new things, right?
Right.
But we saved up for all of it. Like I remember, oh gosh, we didn't have a dining table for the first 2 months.
Yeah.
We would sit picnic style.
Yeah. On the couch.
And then, no, we didn't have
have a couch. Yeah, you're right. Man, we've come a long way.
We didn't have a couch. Like I remember we went to look at couches and we bought the carpet that was going to go underneath, but we didn't get the actual couch.
Value City.
We were just trying to save up for it.
Yeah, you're right.
And guys, like this couch that I'm talking about, that was it was a first big piece of furniture that we bought, right?
Yeah.
Like aside from our table. And I say big piece because it was more than $500 to buy this couch. It's not even anything nice.
No.
And we still have it.
Yep.
Why do we still have it? Because, yes, do we want another couch? Yes. And
absolutely.
I brought it up. But I do not need another couch right now.
Right.
I don't have the money so I do not need it. Okay?
Yep.
I don't have the money. I don't need it. Do I want it? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I have an idea of the one I'd like to go get when it's time to buy it? Yes. Am I planning what I'm going to do with my living room once I have the money? Absolutely, because that's what drives me. I have a Pinterest board of what I want my future living room to look like.
Yeah.
This is once my kids are older and once I got a new couch. But still.
Once the cats are out of the house.
The inspiration is there. The motivation is there. I'm just not financially there yet. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Totally okay.
So now we can talk about. Now I can share. So.
Wait, before you do that.
Okay.
That couch thing just reminded me. Another thing that we did to save money or just being money conscious is we used to buy furnitures from IKEA. Is it IKEA or Wayfair? Like
I know we did our
like
table
when we put together
Wayfair.
things instead of
we would build things.
Yeah.
We bought from like Big Lots and
Big Lots, IKEA, Wayfair. We buy stuff there because they are a little bit cheaper than going to
a little bit. It's a lot cheaper.
A lot bit cheaper than going and purchase it elsewhere. So we buy those things and spend a couple hours here. Teamwork, working together, assembling those things. That's also another way that we've been able to save money. We go to Big Lots, we go to Wayfair, we go to IKEA and buy things there. And we've also spent a lot of time on thrift stores, buying things there. Especially me, I used to buy my clothes from thrift shop, okay? Saves me money, some quality items there. That's how you live a debt-free lifestyle. Live like no one else so you could get to live and give like no one else. That's what Dave Ramsey preaches all the time. Go ahead.
Okay, so now I can share.
Yeah, now you can share.
To put it into perspective, right? We bought our home December 2022.
Yep.
We purchased our home.
Yep.
Moved cross country.
Yep.
at the time, moving cross country cost a lot of money. You got to rent the moving truck.
Everything.
You got to hire movers if you don't have help. We had friends who helped us get our stuff here. Who were, obviously we were paying for their travel, their food, etc. All of that to say, we moved almost a year ago. And when we moved, we knew, hey, we have a new house. Our furniture has all been either passed down from somebody else or it's honestly, it's cheap, so it's not the best quality.
Yeah.
And it's also,
it's pretty old.
Used. Yeah, like it's used. It's old.
Yeah.
So we knew, we wanted to furnish. And when we first thought about moving down here, we're like, we're not going to bring anything. Nope, we're not bringing the old couch. We're not bringing
just
the old bed.
Take our clothes
we're just going to take our clothes and our baby and go bye. Right? And then get here and what?
In a big house.
Because we have a big house. But you know what? Without the money, we weren't going to go back into debt.
Nope.
So it meant load up the stuff on the U-Haul, get it down to Texas.
Yep.
And wait until you have the money to buy it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
And now we can proudly share that guys, tomorrow is December 1st. And we just
a year later.
A year later, we just bought our bedroom furniture set. We got to pick exactly what we wanted. Tijani didn't have a lot. He just wanted me to pick. But he did have a couple things. He told me I need a really great mattress and I want a bench where we can sit to put on our shoes, etc.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we got. And we went into the furniture store knowing very well we could pay cash for it.
Yeah.
Knowing very well that we did not need to finance it. And it was a beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
Our furniture was delivered.
Yeah.
And it's here and it's perfect.
Yeah.
But it feels so good to know that we paid for that.
Yeah.
We didn't have to borrow any money to buy it. Yes, I waited for a year in my handed down old mattress. But you know what? That's okay because now it makes sleeping in my brand new one 1,000 times worth it because I worked hard for it. And now that I finally have it, I'm grateful for it.
Yeah.
And I will take care of it 10 times more than I would have if I would have gotten it on credit.
Exactly.
And it's a beautiful feeling. And I really wish it on all our listeners and everybody out there because it's one of the biggest blessings I feel is you and I started from nothing. And everything we have, we're building together.
Yeah.
And we know that with discipline and patience, great things come. Yeah. And that's exactly what we're doing.
One more time. Absolutely. I think you put it very well. I have nothing else to add. Matter of fact, if we want, we could end the episode right here. You put it nicely. The furniture, I love the furniture. And it's not the most... I didn't know how expensive furnitures are until we went to the store, and we actually bought what we wanted, and we bought what we wanted, and we bought what we needed, and so we're very, very excited and happy to be in that space, and we feel blessed and grateful for that. So
we talked about it a lot. I think in the past year, we probably brought it up at least once a month. If not more often. Especially these last couple months, it was more often. Because we knew it was something that we wanted, but we never rushed it. We were at our own pace.
A year later, we know people that are paying debt right now for furnitures. They bought new homes, so we're talking about a year later. So we were sleeping in the same hand-me-down raggedy bed. Our bed is literally hand-me-down by friends of ours.
Don't say.
We're not gonna say the names. Friends of ours. So, but we're happy to be where we are right now. So we're very grateful. You have any?
To God.
Yep. Anything else you want to add to living a debt-free lifestyle?
I want to highlight a couple more of the things that we've done.
All right, let's go.
Because I think this one's very important. You did grad school debt-free, completely debt-free. Like we were.
Why am I even forgetting about
flowing.
that? Yeah,
we were cash flowing. So you were working multiple jobs.
Yes.
Even though we were out of debt. I wasn't. I was just in my one job.
Yes. Yeah, I had 2-3 jobs at the time.
You did. And
including
you were making
school.
really good money.
Yes.
And you were just paying for your school out of pocket every semester.
Yep. And it was not cheap.
Not at all. We know
grad school is not
tuition is not cheap. Yes, especially grad school.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a huge one. Mm-hmm. We cash flow graduate school, and that's all because of the responsible budgeting we've done prior to that. And we were able to get there because we decided consciously that it was beneficial for us to make a move from one apartment to the next and live with your parents. And that allowed us to save money while we were living with your parents. We didn't take advantage of them. We were paying them the same amount, if not more, the previous people were paying them because we didn't want to take advantage. But that was still very small enough that we were able to save money because I was working 2-3 jobs. I was bringing in good money. I was paying for my school and then also saving money. And so that allowed us to get to the space where we save enough money to put as a down payment for our home.
I think one big thing is at the time, right? Like we got out of debt. We're about to move. I think the thought crossed our mind, right? Mm-hmm. Why not just buy a home?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Because everybody else we knew, some people we knew were doing it already.
And it was like the society expectation of,
check box.
Well, you're married now. It's time to buy a home before you bring in the kids, right? Because you want your kids in your home. Right. And guys, this was something that we knew we wanted for ourselves. And yes, it was something that was going to happen. We knew it, but it wasn't the right time.
Right.
It was not the right time for us. You needed to go through grad school because of your career choice. It was something that you needed to do, and we needed to save money. And therefore, we sacrificed for, gosh, how long were we with my parents?
2 years. Almost 2 years.
2.5 years.
Yeah. We were there for a minute. Mm-hmm. For a minute. That deserves a whole episode about how to live with your in-laws. Problem free.
I lived with my mom and dad. It was great.
I need an episode where you just listen to me highlight how to live with your in-laws problem free. I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, in the future. What other highlights do you have?
Our baby.
Remember
we paid cash for any pregnancy and then childbirth expenses.
Yes, we did. But you had great insurance.
I did have great insurance
at the time. And that saved us a ton of money.
It did. I remember there was, speaking of, you're like, call and dispute the medical bills, right? Like I remember the hospital charges us a fee. For a hearing screening.
Yep.
And remember?
Yeah.
It was like a big sum.
A good amount. It's like over $500.
And he was like, no, I'm going to call your insurance and I'm going to dispute it. And he did. And then my insurance ended up paying for it.
They apologized. They said, we're sorry. It was a misunderstanding. Okay. And we could have easily paid. We had the money to pay for it. Matter of fact, you wanted to pay for it. I said, no. Let's call it because I knew the insurance was supposed to cover it. And we said, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What other highlights?
Let's talk about how much we've traveled.
Oh,
we got out of debt, sir.
Why am I feeling
Where
like
have we gone? You wanted to make this a quick episode, and I have like stories on stories.
You have stories up for days. Yeah. Where have we not gone?
Okay, right after we got out of debt, we didn't really go anywhere because it was the pandemic. Remember? Pandemic times. Yeah, nobody was going anywhere. But when we found out we were pregnant, we wanted to take a baby moon. Mm-hmm. That was definitely on my bucket list of things to do. And we went to Aruba.
Yes,
we did. It was amazing.
Aruba was nice. We need to go back.
Perfect. Yes. We need to go back with Jasleen now because it would be such a different experience.
You had
obviously.
Her first kick was in Aruba.
She did. I felt my first real kick. Like I think before that I had felt flutters, but being a first time pregnant mom, I didn't know what was going on. Like I just thought, oh, my intestines are moving. I don't know. But that day I felt a really, really good kick. It was beautiful.
We talked
about it on another episode.
I loved it.
We then when after we had Jasleen, we went to Mexico for my birthday. For my 30th birthday.
Yes, we did.
That was your birthday party, my birthday present from you.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful experience. My grandparents got to meet Jasleen, my tias, my tios over there, my cousins, everybody got to meet her. They fell in love with her. We spent a great week with my family in Veracruz.
Yeah.
And then we went to Cancun.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really Riviera Maya.
Yeah.
We went on our own for another week.
Yeah.
To just relax, just us three.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful.
That was wonderful. I loved it.
Yeah.
And thank you for taking me to your homeland.
Yeah, and then you took me to your homeland
yes, we did.
Summer.
Yes, we did.
That was an epic trip.
Yes, we did.
Jasleen in Sierra Leone, let me tell you all, she is a Sierra Leonean baby. Was thriving.
Yeah.
He was just enjoying every part of it. It was amazing. Sierra Leone is a beautiful country.
Yes.
Beautiful beaches. The people there are amazing.
Yep.
The food.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Thank
it's to die for.
Thank you.
They don't have a lot of dairy products.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I think would keep me from going and staying full time.
Make your own dairy products.
I miss cheese. Like I remember texting my parents one of like our last few days in Sierra Leone, and I was like,
queso fresco.
I really want carne asada and frijoles. So I wanted steak and beans, okay?
There you go.
There's not a lot of beef either. Lots of fish, though.
Yeah.
Sierra Leone has so much fish. Good fish, too.
Fresh.
Oh, fresh.
From the sea. Amazing things we've done, huh? I forgot about some of these things already.
We talked about the cross-country move.
Mm-hmm.
That was also off, you know.
From Virginia to Texas.
Just, cash flow.
Yep.
And then our down payment, that was also cash flow. All of our, housing, closing costs and all those things.
All of that, yep. And I know we're glossing over these things, but these things have like large amounts of money attached to them, right? Like traveling to Aruba has a cost attached to it. And going to Mexico has a huge cost attached to it. Going to Sierra Leone has a huge cost attached to it. Moving from Virginia to Texas, huge cost attached to it. Transportation, fuel, food, flights, all of those things. And then also coming here, slowly buying our furnitures. All of these have serious amounts of money attached to them. And we are able to do them because of the intentional effort that we made to get out of debt.
I remember when we first got into the house, right? I made an Amazon wish list and I was like, these are all the things that I want, right?
Right.
And yes, I shared it with our friends and family and we got some gifts that we were very grateful for,
Right.
Because we didn't have to buy those ourselves. And then everything else, I was like, this is going to stay here because little by little, we're going to buy things.
Yeah.
As the money comes up, as we need them, we're going to do it little by little.
Yep.
That wish list is still about maybe halfway done.
We'll get to it.
but maybe a little more than half at this point. But it's been one of those things where we're being patient with it.
Yeah. We have the essentials that we need, right?
We have the essentials.
We have the pots and pans to make food. We have a nice fridge. Lights are here, electricity, everything that we need to live. We have those. The rest is mostly wants.
It's convenience.
Yeah.
Honestly, convenience. Since we moved, I was like, oh, I'd love a robot vacuum because it would help with all the cat litter and cat hair, blah, 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 blah.
You wanted it in Virginia and
I did.
We waited for years to finally get something.
Until I finally convinced you, hey, we have the money. Can we please get a robot?
Yep. And we didn't even go for the most priciest one. And we waited for a discount that happened. And you saved $200 from it. Supposedly, that's what they told us. But we waited. It's basically what we're trying to get to is that you have to be patient and wait. Being able to define what a want versus perceived need versus perceived want. Understanding those and stick to your budget. What are the highlights?
I think I'm done with highlights. I would just say the main thing is our life is debt-free by choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's a choice that we consciously make every day.
Yeah.
We don't like owing money to anyone.
Yeah.
And if we don't have the money for it, we simply don't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
We wait until it's the right time, until we save up for it. If we really need it, we know when we really need something, and we'll definitely, start working towards getting whatever it is that we need.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think we'll leave it there, unless you have one final thing you want to say.
I would say to anyone that's going through it, and just struggling, like, reach out.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear, like, questions. We'd love to
That's
hear
a
your
good point.
thoughts, your journeys. Like, this is just our experience. This is what works for us.
Yeah.
This is, how we make. How we're making our life.
This is how we're doing it.
Exactly.
It's
this
like
is
our
how
podcast.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
And we're sharing it because there's no guidebook to life.
Right.
There's no
right
or wrong way of doing it, because everyone's path is different.
Absolutely.
And, I think when we start having more conversations about money, especially as people of color.
Yeah.
I think
we are all we got. We are all we got.
Community will be able to do more together.
Absolutely.
So if you feel like sharing, by all means, we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Contact us and share your experiences, and maybe we can share, tips. Share with us, we share with you, and we can all live happily ever after the way we want it to see, to be like. And that's the whole point of us starting this podcast. And so for that, we're going to leave it there. Thank you for listening to another episode of How We're Doing It. We want to hear from you. Contact us at hwdipodcast@gmail.com or leave a comment. If you like the show, consider subscribing in order to get notified of new episodes. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you again on the next episode.
Mama. Bye-bye.